and the other person could have, let's say, a red mark or a scratch. Good morning, Las Vegas. How are you today? This is David Kohlmeyer, the problem solver, coming in from Las Vegas today. It's Tuesday, it's 11 a.m. every single week, Tuesday, 11 o'clock. We're doing the Problem Solver Show podcast and show, trying to help some people solve some problems today. Again, welcome. So I want to, normally in the beginning of the show, I share a little bit of information about myself. If this is the first time of you tuning into the show, I want to give you a little bit of information. I happen to be a retired police officer from Henderson and also New York City. Served 17 years in law enforcement, and I've retired 6 years ago, and I'm trying to give back and help the community by solving problems and also referring people to the right resources. There are a lot of resources in Las Vegas and throughout the United States, and my goal is to basically help people with all different types of problems. Something new, something different, but the goal is to basically help people and to pay it forward. What I normally say is one problem at a time. Every single week we have a special guest that's coming on the show in order to basically share their wisdom, their expertise to basically help people. And it could be from anything. It could be an attorney, it could be a tax advisor, it could be a teacher, it could be a nonprofit leader, it can be a community activist. If you're interested in being on the show, please reach out to me and let me know how you can help solve a problem, and we'll have you on the show. And we were asking anybody that's listening currently to share it with friends and family, to get the word out, share it among these Facebook groups. We are currently live on Facebook and YouTube and all these different social media platforms. Currently, we are also on an app called Go Live Vegas, which is a network. Again, that's Go Live Vegas. I'm sure it'll pop on the screen here in a second. But you can download that Go Live Vegas app, and you can watch the different shows, including the Problem Solver. We also have the Problem Solver Facebook group page, where we are currently sharing different nonprofits that are helping people. On the actual Facebook page, we'll post, throughout the week. We also have a Problem Solver app, which is a progressive web app, and that means that you can basically put it on your home screen. And currently, if you're looking on the screen right now, you'll see the current app itself, and there are several tabs. If you notice on the left-hand side, it says legal issue or problem. It shows podcast, reviews, if you want to meet, merchandise, sharing, about the problem solvers, the events, resources, and contact information. So this app is, you can add it onto your home screen, and it doesn't take any memory or battery life. So I recommend everybody to add the progressive web app called the problemsolver.vegas. Add it onto your home screen so we can notify you about upcoming events and resources. Also, there'll be a QR code that will pop up if you happen to be you're watching on a TV screen, or if you're watching on your laptop itself, you want to pick up your phone and scan the QR code in order to basically have the app appear on your phone, and then again add it to your home screen. So this is just a great way for communication, and now everybody has access to QR codes, because if you know your phone camera, as long as you just scan it, it will appear on your phone, and it's just a great way of communication. With that basically being said, I want to my normal weekly thing is to go over some unusual problems that I basically dealt with during the week. I wanted to share a few different things of how I've kind of worked and helped some people. With this different, my name and the Problem Solver is out basically in Las Vegas, whether it's the Review Journal, the local paper, the websites, a lot of information out there. So I am getting several calls a day of people that are calling for different problems that they have. The first one was rental issues with basically being evicted. I know right now with the moratorium about being evicted, there is a nonprofit also helping people. And I highly recommend, if you go to, the progressive web app, the problemsolver.vegas, there is contact information if you are having a problem with someone trying to evict you, or if you're having a problem, paying your rent. But this week, there was a very complex case. I referred it to a property manager, to basically share some of the wisdom. Like I said, I have different contacts, whether it's a property manager or attorney or advisors. And this property manager was helping me basically help this one person in order to basically protect them in regards to where they're staying right now, especially during this still, economic, financial constraints on people as well. So we helped one person this week in regards to that. Someone called me in regards to a DUI case, driving while under the influence, where they made a mistake, but they happened to be a professional person that works in the healthcare industry, and they were concerned about their license. And I referred them over to an attorney that I trust that will help them basically get through, this difficult time. And the goal is always, in my mindset, for any criminal defense case, is to basically prevent someone from having another problem or getting arrested again, because we all make mistakes in life, and the goal is to basically prevent that from happening again. Had some other people with some traffic ticket issues, which I referred over to Ticket Buses, which is a local law firm helping people with traffic tickets. They do a free evaluation as well with tickets to let you know what they can do to help you. Then also someone called about getting a will set up. We have something new where we have a local law firm that is looking to do free wills for people, that if you need a will, there is a free, simple will that they will do for you, and everyone should have this in place. There's no reason why you shouldn't have it, especially with the problem solver setting up a local law firm to do the free will. If you go to the app as well, you could fill out some information, and then a licensed attorney will call you in regards to that. The next one is basically housing. I've referred someone over. A lot of people are having housing issues, and I've referred them over to, Novum U, which is a nonprofit helping people. So if you have similar problems like this, you can reach out to me at any time. My personal cell phone is 702-400-7474. Again, that's 702-400-7474. And that is my personal number. You can text and call me at any time. For today's show, if you want to call in and you have any questions that you want to ask myself, you have a problem that you want to go over, or also speak to the guest that we have here today, you can call the local number, which is 702-329-6947. That's 329-6947. And then we also have the 800 number. People are calling from other countries, believe it or not. 855-502-4321. That's 855-502-4321. And then you press 1 to get to the studio. So if you want to call and you have any questions, please go ahead and do so. With that being also said, I wanted to just share with you again on the problemsolver.vegas, on the app itself, we have a lot of different resources that are available. And when you click on resources, basically this week, COVID-19 vaccinations, which is the big deal right now. I am currently working with local pharmacists that if you want to get in to get the vaccination, I can set that up for you. There's no fee, again, for anything that I do here for the Problem Solver. It is basically giving back to the community. So again, COVID-19 vaccination shots. Mention about the free will, local law firm helping out. Food distribution locations. There's some different young adult programs for GED in high school. Programs that are available. I know schools are kind of kicking back in now. And then basically we have some law firms. Richard Harris and the Defenders are doing free evaluations for accident cases, for workers' compensation cases. They are doing free evaluations for anybody that, you state the problem solver and let them know that you found them basically through the problem solver. They will basically sit down with you and do evaluation in general. So I'm glad to be working with some of these local law firms. And again, if you have a specific legal problem where if you got into an accident or if you got arrested or any legal problem, I have a network of attorneys that are willing to basically help you. What I normally set up is a free consultation and a free strategy session to help anybody that wants to meet with an attorney locally in town. Instead of being charged a fee, I am asking the attorneys in the network and the Problem Solver network to basically sit down and to go evaluate whatever the problem that you have. And like I said, if I am basically, referring you to an attorney, it's someone that I trust and that I vetted out specifically to help you in your particular problem. This month also, the last thing I want to leave off, we're going to go to a quick break, but the charity work that basically every month we choose, the Problem Solver chooses a different charity to work with. And this month, it is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. If you're looking to make a donation to help children, please let me know. It's an amazing nonprofit helping children. And we also are selling shirts on the actual the ProblemSolver.Vegas app. The shirts are the shirt that I'm wearing right now, the Problem Solver. There's no money made by myself. It is basically about $14 per shirt that's going towards fundraising efforts for this month for St. Jude's, which they're doing great work to help people locally in Las Vegas. Even though the hospital itself is in another state, they basically pay for all costs to basically help children that basically are very ill, like cancer, and when there's time of no hope, they basically, St. Jude's is providing, hope and future, basically, and breaking statistics to basically make children, healthy and survive, any unusual illness. So again, I would appreciate your support with either buying a shirt on behalf of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, or if you want to make a donation, I could set that up as well. So again, I do appreciate that. Today we're gonna go for a quick commercial break, and I want to thank sponsors. The commercials basically are the sponsors, for the Problem Solver, and I want to thank these sponsors that are basically helping people in the community, because without the sponsorships, and we wouldn't be able to have a show. So I think it's great, and I really do appreciate that. When we come back, we're going to be meeting with a very special person. It is tax season. It's tax time. It's very, very confusing. And we have this amazing person that several of my local friends in the community mentioned. Like, you have to have this guy in the show. So when we come back, we'll have this amazing person, and we'll be right back in 1 minute. Thank you.
Another day in Nevada, and we're lucky enough to call it home. The world knows us for our entertainment, but the best part about living here is the everyday people of our communities. And when one of us gets injured in an accident, well, I guess you could say it's personal. We fight for the people of Nevada every day. The Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
I recommend the defenders because they say what they're going to do and they do what they say.
You're the client, they're working for you, the attorney is your attorney.
I am very impressed with the relationship the defenders has with their clients, and I hope to continue working with them.
It's not just signing people up, getting clients. It's we're going to take care of your problems, and they care about people.
Neither one of us are giving a handout to those people so that they could take advantage, but both of us are giving them that massive hand up.
From the moment I came into the office, everyone working at the front desk was super nice, and just made me feel like I was at home.
When you call, you know that they're working for you and that they want the best for you.
Universal Motor Cars, your one-stop shop for all things auto, service, body repair, collision repair, free towing with repair, all under one roof. State-of-the-art paint equipment and facilities, trained certified technicians, lifetime warranty on paint. Universal Motor Cars accepts all insurance. Over 10 years in business. LVAC members receive 10% off labor. Call 702-754-6774.
Welcome back to the Problem Solver. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're listening on audio or video. I appreciate you guys tuning into the Problem Solver, where we're basically solving problems, one problem at a time in Las Vegas, and a lot of the items that we're talking about can be probably shared throughout the whole United States. Today we're having a special guest. I really appreciate it. It's Vlad Lapachkin. Said that okay?
Perfect.
Okay, Vlad Lapachkin. And he's here today as a special guest. He is probably has amazing skill, because most people, just don't know taxes. And I don't want to, I want you to tell us about yourself, because I know you have some different titles. And when I was reviewing it all, I was like, this is very advanced stuff, and I don't want to kill it. So, Vlad, tell us about yourself in regards to living in Las Vegas, where you're from. Just a little bit intro about yourself, so the viewers and listeners can know who we're listening to.
Yes, Dave. Thank you for having me here on the show.
Thank you.
I'm originally from Moscow, Russia, a long way from home. I've been a resident of Las Vegas since 2004, so for a little while. I own IRS representation firm here in town, where we solve IRS problems.
IRS problems. Solving problems, the IRS problems. That's a problem that you probably do not want to have.
That's right.
Okay, so how long have you been doing it for?
I've been doing taxes since about 2007.
Okay, 2007.
2007. I became an enrolled agent in 2012, so about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been doing helping small business owners to start a business and solve their business problems and tax problems with IRS ever since.
So is it more, so when you say starting small business, like if I was a small business, can I come to you to start?
Exactly, yes. If you come, you want to start from a clean list.
Like starting an LLC as well?
Start an LLC corporation. I'll advise you what's best for you in
Okay.
the very beginning, and we'll put the accounting system in place, we'll do bookkeeping, we'll advise on payroll and tax efficient strategies, yes.
I love it. Okay, it's great. It's good to know. You know, I was doing a bunch of research. I know I've got a good friend, Aaron Manfredi, that we have in common. He mentioned you. A few people I think mentioned you on Facebook. And I was on your Facebook page last night. I just got back from LA. So 3 in the morning, I'm checking you out in general. And you got a lot of good stuff on there, you know, sharing some information with the people. And that's why I wanted you to come on. What does it mean that you say you're an enrolled agent with the IRS? Because I think that actually sounds scary. But what does that mean?
Well, enrolled agent is a superpower.
Okay.
It's actually a federal license. I'm licensed by United States Treasury to represent taxpayers and business entities and all levels and branches of IRS. I have no limitations whatsoever. I'm licensed in all 50 states, so it doesn't really matter which state you're in. So we do a lot of IRS examinations, IRS collection cases, and then during tax season, obviously, we do a lot of tax returns.
Got it. So enrolled agent with IRS just means like you're more, you have like, is it licensing or is it that, do you have like, is it credits that you needed? Like what did you need to become enrolled agent through the IRS?
You have to pass a 3-part special enrollment exam with the Treasury. One will be focused on personal taxation, second one focused on business taxation, and the third one on ethics and government regulations.
Okay. Very advanced stuff. And then I saw that it says tax controversy advisor.
That is
Am I
right.
saying that right? Tax, like controversy, like if there's any type of controversy?
That is right, because people get themselves in the controversy all the time, and that's okay. That's totally fine.
It's the
because
American
tax law, a lot of it is not black and white. There's a lot of gray territories, and we help them to navigate it to make sure they minimize the risk of IRS examination in their specific particular case. Or when everything went wrong, when audit went completely bust, people come to me and try to salvage it because you still can.
I did notice that on your Facebook page that you had someone that owed like $88,000 and then they got a refund back for $5,000.
True that, yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
True that, yeah. I had cases where I go back to, was it 2004, 20 years back, and when people owe the IRS tens of thousands of dollars, and they were continue paying it, their wages being garnished, their bank account was levied. We stepped in, we stopped all the collection action, and then we actually canceled all that debt and got the money back.
You know, they always say that you need like a plumber in life. You need like a plumber, a lawyer, and I think it's a tax advisor in life because things get complex. I mean, I'm 44 doing taxes. My uncles always help me out, in New York City where I'm from, doing taxes. But it just becomes a mess. I mean, you don't even want to like deal with it, because, paying taxes and stuff like that, even though, like, of course, right, it's doing good for our community and our society, right? That paying taxes is just not a fun thing. I don't think you probably ever had a client that's like, I'm so excited to be here today, right? What is NTPI?
NTPI, it's a National Tax Practitioner Institute. It's been run by National Association of Enrolled Agents.
Okay.
And it's a 3-level program where they will teach attorneys, certified public accountants, or enrolled agents specifically in the field of IRS representation. We have national speakers, people who testify in front of the Congress, people who wrote the Internal Revenue Manual, how to deal with IRS, how IRS works from inside out. And that gives us a leg up on Internal Revenue Service.
So explain that one time. So what is it called again? NTPI is?
National Tax Preparer Institute.
I got it. So
it's a fellowship.
A fellowship, okay.
That's right.
So it's a fellowship that you have to go through?
That's right. It's, like I said, it's a 3-level program. Takes about 3 years to complete. I would
Amazing.
say, yeah. And it was about over 1 million tax preparers in the country, and it's about only 3,000 NTPI fellows.
3,000. So you're one of 3,000.
That's right.
It's amazing. I couldn't imagine you doing that, but it's amazing that you're doing that. So tell me more details exactly what you personally do daily. You're meeting with regular people, more businesses. What's your specialty? Where are you in Las Vegas? You have a business, you work from home. How does that work?
We have an office. It's in the southwest part of the town between Jones and Rainbow on West Warm Springs.
Okay.
So we meet with people all the time at our location, but also we network. I'm not shy to go and show up in your business if I have to. We do a lot of events. Before pandemic, I used to teach classes on behalf of IRS at the Nevada Department of Taxation to the small business owners. Actually, if you're starting a business, when they're going to restart it, if you go to IRS page and type in the search box, Ask Tax Advisor Seminars, you will get a schedule of those free seminars. They do it, I believe, every second Tuesday.
Okay.
Also, at the Henderson office at Nevada Department of Taxation, it's a 3-hour seminar,
Okay.
absolutely free. There is no sales pitch out there. There's people from Small Business Administration, Nevada Department of Taxation, myself, Employment Security Division, who will help you for free to explain what it takes to start a business in Nevada.
That's amazing. We have to add that to the problem solver.vegas and references so people know. So like you said, the second Tuesday?
I believe so.
Okay,
Well,
so
we'll see how it goes after pandemic, but usually it is.
Were they doing it virtual before or not really?
They didn't do anything virtual because Nevada Department of Taxation were probably overwhelmed of everything what's going on, so
I agree.
they didn't do much virtual-wise, no.
Definitely crazy times. Tell me, so you were voted number 10 out of 25. Tell us about that. Was the Las Vegas Entrepreneurship
That's
magazine?
right. It's a Las Vegas Entrepreneurs magazine, and they had a voting, I suppose, and somehow I came on top 10.
Okay, that's awesome. So you are top 10 or is it 10 out of 25?
10 out of 25, yeah.
Okay, that's great. The bottom line is you're definitely skilled to talk about any questions I ask you about taxes and so on. Should have brought my taxes with me here today if I knew that I was have such an expert here. Like I said, I like to do my taxes blinded with a friend that basically helps me out as well. So tell us about there's a lot of things that are basically going on in Las Vegas right now throughout the United States as well because you help people throughout the U.S. Tell us a little bit about the PPP. Explain exactly what it is. People, they throw out all these terms, and I know that also, that I was on your site that there's like 96 billion left, and it was moved to May 31st, where it expires. Tell us a little bit of what is PPP to people that just never heard it.
David, so when pandemic hit, the government stepped in to help small business owners. They introduced two programs. One of them actually been around for a little while. It's EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. It's actually a loan. You'll have to pay it back, but it's still very favorable terms for 30 years. And the second one is Paycheck Protection Program. And the Paycheck Protection Program, if you qualify, it could be absolutely free money for your business to continue operations, to continue to pay payroll to your employees or to yourself if you're self-employed, if you're sole proprietor. They allocate billions and billions to this program. There was 2 rounds. The first round was over last year. Unfortunately, they were not able to distribute all the money somehow. There was still about $130 billion left. So when the second stimulus law bill been passed, they brought it back. So at this point of time, if you haven't applied for Paycheck Protection Plan, you still can apply for both rounds technically.
So what is it again?
Paycheck Protection
Plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's more for regular businesses that basically have payroll, right?
Not necessarily. If you're sole proprietor, if you're independent contractor, gig worker, if you had a Schedule C on your 2019 or 2020 tax return, you can qualify.
So if you're independent contractor, what about like the rideshare drivers and all that stuff? Is it the same thing, right?
That's right. They report their income on Schedule C, and as long as you have that Schedule C and you've been in business on February 2020, you can qualify.
God. I have a lot of rideshare listeners that listen to the show because we're connected to something called United Rideshare Drivers Association, and there's an app called Driver Companion that actually helps drivers as well. So I'm definitely going to share this information. So they have an opportunity now till May 31st to basically get some extra, what would you call it, just financial assistance?
Financial assistance, yes, but one little thing about PPP, it goes in conflict with unemployment compensation. So you really have to take a look at that, which one is more beneficial to you, because you cannot claim both.
So if they're already receiving unemployment, they can't get the PPP?
If you're currently receiving unemployment, you cannot get PPP. If you received unemployment last year and right now you're in a situation when your business needs funding from the government to survive, then you can still apply.
Got it. All right, so the bottom line is that this is it sounds like so much money, $96 billion. I mean, it's throughout the United States, right?
That's right.
I mean, so I'm assuming, do you think are all these people going to basically use up $96 billion? I mean, things are also kind of, I would say, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think things are slowly getting back? I mean, I was on the Las Vegas Strip the other day, and it's very busy. It seems like people are moving around. I actually was in Los Angeles this weekend. I was in Venice Beach, and there was a lot of people on Venice Beach, and I think their occupancy in California was 25% of indoors. I mean, everyone's outdoors. But what are your thoughts right now in regards to the PPP and just how we are going through the U.S., where people, are they going to use the money? What do you think?
People most definitely can use the money. The PPP program helps people to survive. They keep their doors open. I know a number of business owners here in Las Vegas who are still in business solely because of that program. As far as businesses going, you can tell that some industries are really struggling. At the same time, there are still people who are thriving, who are still growing.
It's amazing how just it could be one from the other, right?
It truly is amazing, yeah.
So anyway, the bottom line is there is assistance available. We have till May 31st, which is a good thing in general in regards to that. In regards to the stimulus, people received, I think, was it last week they started receiving, I think it was the $1,400. Tell us a little bit about that. What are you knowledgeable about that?
That's the third stimulus that every eligible taxpayer receive, and this time around they remove the age restriction, so pretty much every U.S. resident or citizen receiving $1,400. The first round, you're right, David, start being distributed last week.
Okay.
They're going to take about another 2-3 months to distribute the money because not everybody can qualify based on their 2019 tax return. So they're going to have to file 2020 tax return before they can get that money, but they will receive that.
Got it. We work with a lot of people that are actually these homeless nonprofits, and we also work with some people that are getting like restarting, getting another chance of life in general if they made a mistake. And I know a lot of them, what happens if they didn't receive the money? I do get phone calls like, in regards, unemployment's a different situation. They're saying that they tried to apply for unemployment or they're waiting for the stimulus check. Like, how do you get through? You see people on Facebook, like, I keep calling all the time. They don't answer. Any recommendations for people who are, like, trying to get that money that it didn't come yet?
Are we talking about stimulus?
Let's talk about, the stimulus one, the $1,400. If they didn't get it, what are they supposed to do? They call the IRS? Who are they calling?
You need to file 2020 tax return, even if you didn't have any income. With any luck, hopefully IRS is going to open up another portal like they did for the first and second stimulus, where they will allow you to enter your bank account information so they can send the money to you electronically. So that was a great help. Otherwise, if you didn't file tax return, if you don't have your bank account information on that tax return, IRS simply doesn't know where to send the money. So you have to get in the system somehow, and you get in the system by filing 2020 tax return.
So that could be a reason why they didn't receive the money if they didn't file the tax return.
That's right, because IRS, as powerful as they are, they still have no idea where to find you and where to give you the money.
Are most people, is the IRS normally, is it better to send the money electronically, or do also people receive a check?
Electronically. I would not suggest to deal with the mail at this point of time for nothing. If you can receive the money electronically, that should be a definitely choice.
So I was told on Facebook, I saw someone pop up saying, look, the best thing you could do, like if you saw a homeless person, believe it or not, they're saying to tell them to go to a local tax place like H&R or somewhere, and they apply, maybe schedule, I don't know what it is, Schedule C or something like that, and they could basically get the money like on a Visa card, like right away. Is it that quick that if you're basically just have no money, and you basically go to a local tax office, and what is it, do maybe the 2020 tax return? I think they said Schedule C. I have no clue what I'm talking about, so jump in after. What do they have to do to get that money? Because they made it sound like it's very quick to get like a Visa debit card of the $1,400.
That could be a challenge. There's some places like H&R Block who offer bank products that will advance you your tax refund, which is essentially what the stimulus money is. But that's going to come with the fees, and those fees are probably going to be steep. So if you can avoid those bank products, if you have a bank account, I would suggest stay away from those and just file tax returns. The money will come to you. But if everything fails, that bank product, places like H&R Block or any other tax office that offers it, could be a solution.
How much do you think that would cost? What kind of fees do you know? Or
it's been a while since I worked in the blockchain.
If it's $1,400, you think they're going to lose $400?
It's quite possible. I really don't know exactly, but
It's been a while.
From the time I used to work for H&R Block, we're talking about back in 2007, those fees are quite high.
Okay. But if they really need it, they're really down in their luck, there is something available that they
could
can
be
get more
tool to
advanced.
use, yes.
Okay. And do you recommend, I know that you used to work for H&R Block, but what other local places like throughout town that people should go to that are trusted places? H&R Block's all over. What other ones are out there?
Pretty much any national chain.
Any national chain that does like tax preparation?
They will have that option available for you. They call it Rapid Refund, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Rapid Refund, okay. Yeah. So it could be a similar program, Rapid Refund, if they need the money in general. I just thought it was interesting saying the best information you can give to someone that's basically down in their luck or homeless right now is just giving the information to go to a tax preparer in order to basically get that to be done.
And there could be a solution if you don't have a bank account, because not everybody have a bank account because of the poor credit history or what's not. Those chains that will create a bank account for you solely for the purpose of receiving your tax refund, and you can still continue to use it as a bank account.
Got it. All right, so Vlad, one of the things, just to let you know with the program here, is that if anyone has any type of legal issue, or even now that I think that we're getting to know each other, a tax issue in general, that basically people could reach out to myself, the problem solver. I could be reached at 702-400-7474. You can text and call me. I can get you in touch with Vlad as well. If there's a quick question, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to, do a quick to advise you. But if you're having, a local business or a tax issue, I think that he can meet with you and sit down to see what could be done. Remember, I do also have a full legal team that basically is available, that have attorneys that basically want to help out in general. And at any time that if anyone has any problems, if you know any people that that need any type of legal help whatsoever, that myself, the problem solvers basically, and the attorneys that I work with, be more than happy to work with people in general. We're going to take a quick minute break. When we come back, we're going to speak to Vlad in regards to other major questions. I mean, this is great stuff, and I really appreciate you coming on, because it's confusing, to the average person, and I think most people just procrastinate it because it's taxes, it's money. Now, the stimulus is different because everyone wants to receive money, So we'll be back in a quick minute. Thank the sponsors of the show by watching a quick 1 minute of some quick commercials. Thank you so much. Be right back.
Meet Joe. Joe's a very busy guy. He's always driving from work to meet friends. And sometimes Joe's in a hurry and doesn't follow all the rules. Joe just got a traffic ticket. Traffic tickets are a major hassle. You have to take time off work to go to court and stand in long lines. A couple days later, Joe saw his friend Matt. Joe tells Matt about his traffic ticket troubles. Another traffic ticket? Just call Ticket Busters. Ticket Busters? Well, what's Ticket Busters? Ticket Busters is the quick and easy traffic ticket solution with licensed attorneys. Ticket Busters went right to work for Joe's ticket. Ticket Busters did all the work, saving Joe time and stress. A few weeks later, Joe receives a call from Ticket Busters, and his traffic ticket has been resolved with no points, no traffic school, and no insurance increase. Ticket Busters helped Joe bust his ticket, and Ticket Busters can help you too. Go to ticketbusters.com, download our app, or call 702-666-6666.
Activated.
Welcome back to The Problem Solver. I'm David Kohlmeyer, the host of The Problem Solver Show. Thanks for joining and listening in. If you have any questions today, you can call in at any time. If you have any questions, at any time you can text or call me myself at 702-400-7474. Again, 702-400-7474. Any problem, we're trying to solve problems one problem at a time. The toll-free number to call in today if you have any questions, which is a great time to call in. We have this amazing person here, 855-502-4321, 855-502-4321. It's on your screen right now. If you're watching, if you're listening, you can call in. If you have any questions later, you can private message me on Facebook or any of the social media sites. Today, again, we're with Vlad Lapachkin, and he basically is tax. I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. What do you consider yourself? Tax preparer, tax advisor? What's your
tax advisor?
Tax advisor.
Expert, yeah.
Tax expert, tax advisor, like that. Tax expert, tax advisor. This is the guy you need in your home when you're doing your taxes with your shoebox of all your receipts. So we're asking some great questions, and I think this video eventually, once we're done and people are going to start watching because it's just great information. I think most people just don't know where to go to when they have a tax problem, and you see H&R Block with these different companies that are out there, but there's not a face. It's just kind of that national brand, like we mentioned before. So I think it's great that you're on the show. People will see you, and then I think that people have problems, they may contact you. Tell me a little bit of information. Again, where your office is. What is your office name? Is it just you? Tell us more. If people want to get in touch with you, give us that information.
Our office is located on the southwest part of the city, on the West Warm Springs between Rainbow and Jones. And the name of the company, Lapachkin Tax.
Lapachkin Tax.
That's right.
Okay. By the way, I know you speak some different languages. How many languages do you speak?
Just two, Russian and English.
Russian and English, okay. So, and what is your main phone number if they want to call you, they want to set up an appointment to meet with you?
It is 702-769-7697.
So 769?
7697.
7697. Okay, great. 769-7697. Do you do any free consultations? You sit down with somebody? Do you do anything like that in the beginning when you first meet with someone?
Most of the time, the first consultation is going to be free, yes.
Okay.
So we'll sit down, we'll take a look at your paperwork, and then we'll see what we can do for you, how we can help you.
So if you're a local business that's basically starting up, stimulus questions, tax questions, tax preparation, any issues with the IRS, if you get any type of unusual forms from the IRS that you want to decipher because it seems like a second language. That's actually your third language.
It is
taxes.
A third language, yes.
It's English, Russian, and taxes. So yeah, that's great. So I'm really glad you're here, and I think people are going to get some phone calls, and people do need some help. I do know, well, quick question. What is it normally, you mentioned about doing the 2020 tax return. What's the normal range in price when someone needs to do a tax return? Especially like you mentioned, in order to get the stimulus check that you don't, let's say they made no money. How affordable is to do a tax return, even if you made very little money this year?
Well, every tax return is different. So we don't give any quotes over the phone. We really have to see your paperwork before we can tell you how much it's going to cost. But at our firm, once I see all the paperwork, I'm going to tell you up front. It's going to be flat fee. There's not going to be any hidden charges, how much it's going to cost you.
I don't want to be negative in regards to this, but the national brands are out there. What's the difference, like, if someone said, go to my friend Vlad, but meanwhile they're like, oh, I go to another national brand that's all these commercials. Like, what's the difference between the national brand and going to someone like you?
Experience and expertise.
Okay.
The national brands, some of them better than others, but there's a lot of seasonal employees who work there just through the tax season, and taxes is not their specialization. If you have something simple, that could be your solution, but if you have anything complex, you want to work with a tax advisor who will stay with you all the time, who knows your case, who knows your taxes, who knows your family, who knows your situation, who can advise you all year long, because most of these national offices, they shut down during the year. So if you have a question or a letter from IRS, where do you go?
Okay. How does it work? Like, some people say sometimes that, I haven't done my taxes in several years. Now, me personally, I do my taxes every year. Maybe it's extended. But like when people say that, it makes me nervous. But like, it doesn't seem like it makes other people nervous. So if I tell you that I haven't done my taxes in like 3 to 5 years, like, could I be placed in jail? I mean, like, how does that really work? I mean, people would say that to me, but I'm clueless.
If you have filing requirement and you did not file taxes, technically it's a criminal offense.
Okay.
IRS doesn't like to put people in jail because of that, because it doesn't know good, but every year they do. To make an example, I see non-filers coming through the door all the time, and we bring them back into the compliance.
So they're physically getting arrested?
It could happen. It's a possibility.
Have you seen that?
I'm yet to see someone be arrested for not filing tax returns, but every year IRS they publish the publication when they list the people who've been placed in jail for not filing tax returns.
I wonder how many people that is throughout the U.S.
I don't remember exactly, a couple hundred maybe a year, something like that.
So a couple hundred a year they're actually getting arrested for just not doing their taxes.
Yep.
Someone messaged on Facebook Messenger says, I haven't done my taxes in 5 years. I just received a registered letter from the IRS. I've been scared to open it. What do I do?
You need to act on it upon that letter fast, because some of these letters, they have very specific time frames, and if you don't act on it right now within that time frame, you're going to lose your rights. So don't be scared. Give me a call. You have my number.
Okay.
Let's take a look at that. Let me tell you what it is and why it's happening, and we can take it from there.
So no matter what, just don't bury your head and basically just be a big
Don't
boy or
ignore
girl
it.
and open up that letter.
Being
and just
scared
get
to
some
ignore
help.
it, it's the worst thing you can do.
Okay, so the bottom line is that people haven't done their taxes. They shouldn't be scared. They should just do their taxes.
That's
They can
right.
go to a local brand. Maybe it's not the best person expertise, but maybe it's more reasonable. But of course, having someone more qualified like yourself would be a better person to get in touch with. Any special tips? I mean, right now I know that the tax deadline was moved from April 15th to May 17th. What's the reason why? Is it just because of COVID? Like, what's your thoughts in regards to why they moved it?
One of the reasons is IRS is overwhelmed. They still have millions of tax returns from 2019 that they were not able to process. They have a huge backlog. Then we had a second stimulus being passed at the end of December. Then the third stimulus passed, a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Those stimulus bills, they're all done through the change of the tax code. There was a major change in unemployment compensation taxation that just came through, 2 weeks ago. A lot of people have been waiting to file the tax returns because of that, because a lot of people receive unemployment compensation. Because of that backlog, because of half of the country being waiting to file, it was unfeasible to process all those returns with a short period of time. That's why Internal Revenue Service decided to move the deadline to May 17.
Got it. So it gives people more time.
They probably will move it again because they are so far behind. They're 1 minute away from collapse, to be honest with you.
You know, the stimulus check, I mean, it's not taxable money, is it?
It is not. It's a free money.
And unemployment?
Up to first 10,200 is no longer taxable. Anything above that is.
So after 10,000 of unemployment is taxable.
10,200, yes.
So 10,200 is the max you could receive of unemployment, where you basically don't have to pay taxes.
Tax-free.
But you still have to put it on the tax return. You have to.
You still have to reconcile it. Just
Right.
because it's tax-free doesn't mean you have to. You can't leave it off.
Got it. So, any special tips this year, basically because of COVID and the craziness that's taking place this year? Like, are there normally unusual tips that you share with some of the people? You're saying, this year you should do this, you should do that. Is anything special?
Well, tip number one: don't rush to file your taxes if you can, because of everything that's going on. All the most recent changes. Take your time. If you can wait to file taxes, I would suggest take your time. Organize your receipts. Organize your paperwork. Make sure you have everything on file so you don't miss anything. And do file. Because of pandemic and everything else, life can get overwhelmed, and I've seen sometimes people say, you know what, I'll just deal with this later. The problem with this logic is if you have a balance due and you didn't file, the penalties could be as high as 5% a month. If you file and cannot pay, the penalties are 10 times less. So it always pays to file on time, even if you cannot pay.
Got it. So file it, and then you can worry about paying later.
And don't ignore those letters, yeah.
Got it. Another question came in through Facebook. It says, I filed one of my taxes in 2010, and IRS did not add my dependents. They claim I owe them $500. I never paid it. Can I still fight it?
If that's the case, yeah, you can still.
But for 2010 is a long time ago.
You cannot claim additional tax refund for 2010, but if there is a balance due and there is something omitted from that tax return, you can amend the tax return and wipe off that balance due, yes.
I guess here's the question, though. But for $500, it means we're just paying the $500. By the time they hire a tax expert, it'll probably cost the same money? Or is it just that, can you dispute it yourself?
You can try to dispute yourself. Right now, it's going to take you months and months. I would not suggest to dispute anything on your own with the IRS. I would just.
That's probably the best advice you can give today. What about paying the money and then disputing it?
You can do that. I would. Sometimes it's probably a good option, but not always.
Because it'll probably take a year and a half for them to get back to you.
Sometimes it takes that long, yes.
Got it. Okay, interesting. So I'm sorry. So any other tips regards to COVID, the craziness of the year? Just making sure that you basically file. Anything else that you could add for other people? I mean, you got unemployment, you got stimulus. I mean, what else took place during the year that would be a little bit different than a normal tax return? What about the rideshare drivers? Some of them maybe are unemployment. They got a stimulus check. They're writing off their car, their gasoline. We have a lot of rideshare drivers as well that I deal with. Anything about riding off with them?
The rideshare,
Mileage?
the way the Uber, for example, works, they do a very complete report on all their expenses and the mileage. And they change the method, how they calculate the mileage. So they give you everything to file your tax return. However, some Uber drivers, they have business license, they buy supplies, they buy candies, they buy water for their passengers. I would suggest keep all the receipts. Anything that's ordinary and necessary, anything that helps you to earn the money or build your clientele if you're a small business owner, you can write off. Just keep all the receipts.
Got it. One other question just came in through Facebook. It says, I've seen videos where people claim that the IRS knows how much we actually make and that they want us to screw up our taxes so they get paid more. Is that just like a myth?
It's a myth. Yeah, of course it's not. It's true. No.
All right. All right. So the other question I got for you is, so we talked about a little bit. We talked about because of the craziness. Any tax tips in general for the year? And I was talking about the craziness. And anything else of tax tips that you want to share a little bit? I know it's kind of a broad topic, but I'm just because before I was talking about with the COVID and craziness and unemployment. I guess normal tax tips. I'll give you an example. People you always see on TV or the old shows where people have all their receipts in a sneaker box, and they bring it to the accountant guy, and they got all these sneaker boxes, and the accountant guy is really going through the receipts. What's your thoughts in regards to that process? Number one, I know some people that are here probably wouldn't be using shoe boxes. What are your thoughts about that process? Is there a better way of doing things? What do you recommend doing in times of technology?
In times of technology, first of all, what you're describing now applies only to small business owners or independent contractors because all the employee business expenses have been canceled in 2018. So if you have a lot of receipts, that means you're in business. And if you're in a business, you want to have an accounting system. You don't want to have all your receipts in a shoot box. You want to be a little bit more organized.
If it's a Nike box? Special Nike box?
It doesn't really matter. No, okay. Not to me.
So it's not a good way of doing it?
It's not a good way. You need to develop some sort of accounting bookkeeping system. First of all, you need to be in control of your business. And how can you be in control if all your receipts in a shoebox, you have no idea what your expenses are? You need to control cash flow.
Got it.
Without that, it's very difficult to succeed.
So like Excel spreadsheet, QuickBooks, apps?
Anything that helps you to track your income expenses, or if your business gets a little bit more complicated, you probably want to consider hiring a professional bookkeeper who can do it for you.
Got it. So the bottom line is you need to track it a little bit better, maybe on a monthly basis. If you save those receipts.
Quarterly. I would say quarterly would be sufficient enough unless you do some sales and you're required to file monthly reports of Nevada Bureau of Taxation.
Got it. So you said that if you're basically an employee, that you basically no longer can write off any taxes?
Unless you're Army Reserve, there is nothing really you can write off as an employee.
So if you're military. So if I work for a local business, and sometimes I want to pay for extra things because my employer is not, like my mother was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She was a teacher, and she got limited supplies, but she always needed to buy more stuff. So she would spend $300, $500, $200 for the kids in class. Could she, now this was years ago, could she write that off on her taxes this year?
Teachers have a little bit of exclusion, up to $250, which is not much this day and age.
Up to $250 for a teacher.
$250 for teachers. But outside of that, unfortunately, you really need to be reimbursed by your business.
Any other employee profession gets more than $250, or is that?
That's it.
Really? Maybe years ago it was different because she was buying a bunch of supplies, I remember, as a teacher.
Back in 2017 and prior years, it was different. Right now, they just cancel all that.
So these days, you need a business. Basically like an LLC or something like that, right, to basically write off expenses. We're going to take a quick last commercial break. Quick minute, some of the sponsors that we have, Richard Harris Law Firm, The Defenders, Ticket Busters, Universal Motor Cars, people that are sponsors. I want to thank them for sponsoring the Problem Solver program, for this information going out for free on all different social media platforms. Again, I really appreciate Vlad coming to talk about all this great stuff. We're going to be back in a quick minute for the last chapter of today of the Problem Solver. So give us a quick minute. We'll be right back.
Another day in Nevada, and we're lucky enough to call it home. The world knows us for our entertainment, but the best part about living here is the everyday people of our communities. And when one of us gets injured in an accident, well, I guess you could say it's personal. We fight for the people of Nevada every day. The Richard Harris Law Firm at 444-4444, just in case.
Welcome back to The Problem Solver. We are back we got about 10 minutes left to basically go through some quick questions, some great information here with Vlad Lapachkin, basically, who is a tax expert, a tax advisor, tax preparer. Great information in general, getting some great questions answered here. So one of the questions actually, which is a great question, and I've gotten these calls as well, someone on Facebook messaging saying that if they got a call, there's a lot of these like fake fraudulent calls that are happening these days where they're saying, this is the IRS, your social security number is locked and you can go to jail, or, basically you didn't pay your taxes, there's going to be a warrant, please press 1 to talk to an operator. It's for me being a retired police officer, 17 years, I always tell people, you never give things over the phone. If you have a credit card or, the IRS, you can call them at the main number and check. What's your thoughts in regards to how do you deal with these calls?
Well, the important thing to know, IRS will never initiate a contact over the phone. They will never call you. So if you get a phone call from IRS, if you are not actively already working with IRS, it's probably a scam. It's most likely a scam. So don't even talk to them, just hang out.
Got it.
And also remember, you always have a right for representation. So even if it's a proper IRS phone call, which probably will never happen, all you have to do is just take their contact information, their name, their phone number, and tell them that your representative will contact them back.
And does you did speak to the operator, an IRS personnel, do they have like a badge number or an employee number?
They do have an ID, and they will present themselves.
Got it. So just like a police officer, they would have an ID number that you can call and verify.
You can't really call and verify that information. They will present it to you. So if you have an appeal later on, you can bring it up. But there is no phone or line or option to go and verify that employee.
So they would basically they should document it.
They document every single phone call.
And by the way, if anyone gets, I've got several of these calls in regards to people calling. If you guys have a phone call that basically says that you're in warrant or the IRS or anybody in general, please call me, the Problem Solver. I have no problem calling them specifically just to say, hey, how can I help you? And basically ask them as a retired police officer some information. Most of the times they hang up the phone, they're calling from another country. But there's a lot of scams out there, so they need to be really careful. Again, I can be reached at 400-7474. If you have any questions about this, or you can go on to the problemsolver.vegas app and put in the information where it says like legal issue or problem. And I like calling these people just to see what's going on. A lot of times these scams they'll tell you to go to the nearest 7-Eleven and get a green dot card, or there's new cards where they'll say, send me the ID numbers on the green dot card and send $700 to basically get you out of warrant. So if anyone has any problems like this, these scams, I'd be more than happy to help out. One of the questions from Facebook that just came in says, is the new Trump tax reform good or bad? For the majority of Americans, I can no longer write off more than one child for school. Does that make sense to you?
It does make sense. That is not correct that you can no longer write off more than one child for school. I'm not sure where that came from. You certainly can. Trump tax reform, in my opinion, in my experience, and I've seen a lot of tax returns here in Nevada, it's to benefit the average people. With the exception of handful of states like California, New York, maybe New Jersey, 9 out of 10 taxpayers benefited from tax reform.
Got it. So how do you think right now, with not to be politically involved, but with Joe Biden being the new president, do you feel taxes? I mean, people on social media basically, gas is going up, taxes going up. What are your thoughts for the upcoming next, I guess it's 4 years?
In my uneducated opinion, I think taxes are going to go up. They already went. In the third stimulus, there was a 3-provision tax quietly that raised the taxes by about $60 billion on the corporations mostly and on the CEOs, but there is more of that coming. It's definitely in the works. They're going to affect a lot of people, a lot more than initially anticipated.
How is it, I had a few different questions going back and forth, basically, in regards to being audited, basically you mentioned before that you deal with people like this, you've helped a lot of people. How stressful is it? I mean, is it just having a good tax expert by your side that you're going to feel a lot better when you get all these letters? How hard is it going through an audit?
Well, the audit could be very stressful, as you can imagine. It's never a pleasant exercise. If you retain us, my clients never see the IRS examiner. They never face the IRS. I do all the work.
Okay.
So I take all the stress, all anxiety away. and make sure that we arrive to favorable results.
So you're representing them as if you were like an attorney. You're like the legal representation.
I will have a power attorney, and I will stand in place of taxpayer. You will never talk to IRS.
Okay, that's great. Is that something new? Has always been that way? If you had someone that
Pretty much always been that
has
way.
always been that way. Okay. I mean, you watch the movies and stuff like that, you know. So I don't never been through that. Knock on wood. In regards to the stimulus check in general, the $1,400, the third stimulus check, do you believe there's going to be another one?
I believe there will be. There's already talk about the fourth stimulus check, and they want to make it recurring, so they don't have to pass the new stimulus bills over and over again. But then again, it's a matter of budget, because we cannot print money indefinitely.
You know, people are saying right now, basically, I went to a seminar the other day, and they were saying how, like gold and silver and then inflation and stuff like that, they're saying that these days the only way to beat inflation is if you're buying real estate. What you meet a lot of people in general, not that I'm any expert whatsoever in inflation. What's your thoughts in regards to housing, buying real estate, the market right now in general?
Market right now in Vegas is hot. From an investment point of view, you want to buy when the market is low. When the market crashes, that's when you need to buy real estate, because you profit from it not when you sell, you profit from it when you buy. If you buy low, you're going to be good. Hyperinflation is a concern, obviously, because they pumped about $10 trillion in the last 12 months into the economy. That is not going to go away.
Okay.
So real estate is a good option. It's just Vegas right now, it's hot.
Got it. People were saying in the seminar that like, silver should be worth a lot more money, and that basically because of all this money that we're printing, that it's just a crazy time. Which leads me to the next question. I'm not sure if you're familiar, and I'm not sure if you've done any taxes for people in regards to Bitcoin. Everyone keeps talking about this virtual currency. It's at like $46,000 right now per coin. And I was, most people like you're not educated about it, you think it's no big deal. It was $300 or $500. What are your thoughts, and have you dealt with anybody in regards to the virtual currency and Bitcoin?
We deal with it all the time, yes.
What's your thoughts about it in general? Like I have someone the other day says to buy, 2/8 of one coin because it's limited. I mean, I know that you may not be the expert on Bitcoin, but since it is virtual currency and basically you've probably seen that on tax returns now and being a tax expert, anything that you could share about that?
Well, I cannot give people investment advice. That's outside my scope of experience and expertise. But I believe the virtual currency, blockchain technology in general, it's the future. It's coming, one way or another. I believe federal government right now is working on releasing federal virtual currency. Other countries already have done that. So the United States has some catching up to do. The one important thing to remember about virtual currency, it's not actually a currency, it's a property, it's an asset. So every single time you sell it or exchange it, you're adding an extra page to your tax return. When I've seen advertisement, they say, hey, here's a MasterCard to your virtual currency wallet. You can go and pay for it in the restaurant. Yes, you can, but guess what? Every single time you swipe that card, you add an extra page to your tax return. So if you do it all year long, your tax return is going to be very, very thick.
Meaning that if you buy and sell Bitcoin?
Or if you use it. If you use it to make a purchase, because every single time it's a sale of that asset, because it's not a currency.
Because these days you go to the gas station and use Bitcoin, right, as currency.
You can, but every single time you swipe that card,
it's another page.
It's another page.
So if I go to the gas station 20 times, I get 20 extra pages on my tax return?
If you do it with the Bitcoin, yes. Because when speaking of New York, when I went to New York with my daughter, every other restaurant, every other cafe on the street accept Bitcoin.
Got it. We got about 2 minutes left. A question for you in regards to people who are moving from California to Las Vegas, and specifically in regards to everyone saying it's the California exodus in general. What are your thoughts? Is the taxes so high? Someone said the other day, if you're making $1 million in California, that basically that you're really only taking home $500,000, and that's why people are coming from California because of the whole tax situation. What are your thoughts in regards to that? And that's why the housing market is going up so much.
That is certainly true. I have a special relationship with California. I believe the California Department of Taxation is unreasonable. You would not be able to pay me money to go and do business in California, but that's just my personal opinion. Taxes are very high, and they are scheduled to go up. And one of the provisions out there, what I've seen, I don't know if it's going to become true or not, is even if you move out of California, California would like to tax you for the next 10 years because you had the privilege to using their roads and infrastructure and everything else. So California, it's a beautiful state, love to visit, to do the business there, not me.
I think it's just drive to the beach and drive home if you live in Vegas.
That's right.
So Vlad, basically our time is basically up. Again, Vlad Lopatchkin, who's an enrolled agent with the IRS and a tax advisor locally in Las Vegas, willing to basically help you, free consultations available. You mentioned the problem solver as well to basically just get some VIP treatment from Vlad here. He can be reached at 769-7697. Again, 769-7697. I hope to have Vlad back on the show, every quarter, basically we can touch base in general. But the biggest thing really is if you have a problem with taxes, please contact Vlad or myself, and basically that we can get you guys the help that you need. Again, Vlad, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank everybody from listening, audio, video, Facebook followers. Thanks so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Have a great week. Thank you.